Hi boys and girls, today we are going to do arithmetic lesson 136, and what we're going to learn today is we're going to learn about angles and triangles. Before we get started, let's review our concept cards. Hexagon, pentagon, trapezoid, rhombus, square, rectangle, parallelogram, polygon, congruent triangles, similar triangles, simple closed curved, .001, .139, .01, .21, .1, angle, ray, line, line segment, point. Very good job. So now we are going to look over our angles and triangles. We're gonna learn their names, and we're gonna learn some facts about each of them. Okay, so let's look at the chart that we have on the board, and we have 4 different types of angles. We have acute, obtuse, straight, and right. So let's learn some facts about how can we determine which type of angle it is. So for the acute angle is less than 90 degrees. Okay, so that's how we would identify an acute angle. If it has less than 90 degrees, then we know that it's an acute angle. For the obtuse angles are more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. For the straight angles, they are 180 degrees. And for the right angle, the way that we could determine if an angle is a right angle is if it has a square corner, because it is formed by perpendicular lines and all the right angles are 90 degrees. So for the right angle, if it's 90 degrees, then we know that it is a right angle. Okay, let's look at our chart for the triangles. It is important to know that with the triangles, the sum of the 3 angles in any triangle needs to add up to 180. So this is very important. The sum of the 3 angles of any triangle is 180. And we have 4 different types of triangles. So let's look at the first one, the right triangle. The right triangle has 1 right angle. Okay? The second one, the isosceles triangles, they have 2 congruent sides. And you may ask yourself, Ms. Rentas, what is a congruent? What does that mean? Congruent means that it measures the same. So when you have in a triangle 2 sides that measure exactly the same, that means that they have congruent sides, that the sides are congruent, they measure the same. So in an isosceles triangle, both sides measure the same. For the scalene triangle, this means that none of the sides of the triangle measure the same. Okay, so the scalene, it has no congruent sides, meaning that the sides do not measure the same. And the equilateral triangle, has three congruent sides, meaning that the three sides measure the same thing. And again, when you add up all the sides of the triangle, it needs to add up to a sum of 180. Go ahead now and look at the paper that you have for today, lesson 136, and let's look at the class practice. So on number 1 on the class practice, what they basically want you to do is to write what type of triangle is the picture from. So they were giving you a picture and you want to tell which type of triangle it is. So we're just naming it. And as a reference, because you are just learning this concept, you could look in the chart that is provided to you so that you can know which type of triangle it is. So on the first one, on letter A, if you look, you could see that the two of the sides are exactly the same. They measure the same thing. If you get a ruler and you look, you can see the measurements are exactly the same. That's going to be an isosceles triangle. So for A, it should be isosceles. For letter B, if we look at the picture, we could see that we have that triangle already in the chart. So that's going to be a right triangle. And for letter C, that's going to be which one? Look at the pictures and tell me what it is. Exactly, it's going to be an equilateral triangle because it has three of the sides measure the same thing. So it's going to be equilateral. Okay, let's look in your class practice. Let's look at number 2, letter A. On number 2, letter A, they want you to find the measure of the third angle in each of the triangles. So they're giving you the measurement for two of the angles, but you want to know what is the value of the third one here. What's that value? And remember, we had said that when we measure or when we add the sides of the triangle, it should add up to 180. Okay, this is what it should add up to. So this is how you would find that. What you would do to figure out what the measurement of that is that you want to add 90 plus 60. So if we were to add 90 plus 60, that's going to give you 150. So you know that here you already have 150. But remember, the three sides need to add up to 180. So if I take the 180 that the three sides should add up to, and I subtract 150, because that's the amount that I already have between the 9 and the 60, when I subtract this gives me 30. So if I have 90 and 60 and I add 30 more, that's going to give me 180. So this side here should be 30. That would be the answer for letter A. Okay, so you add the sides, the quantities that you're given, and you're gonna minus that. After you add it, you're gonna minus it to 180. And whatever it is remaining, that is what that third angle is going to be, that number. Okay, so that's going to be 2, letter A. Okay, the rest you could do on your own. And we're gonna move up to number 3. On number 3, it says that use the given information to name the type of triangle. So on letter A, it says angles are 30 degrees, 90 degrees, and 60 degrees. So if we look in the chart on the top of the page, we know that this is going to be a right triangle, because the right triangle, first of all, has one right angle, and also the sum of all the angles sums to 180. So if we add up 30 plus 90 plus 60, that total, that sum, is going to give you 180, and that is what a right triangle is, okay? For letter B, it says sides are 3 inches, 3 inches, and 3 inches. So if we look in our chart, it says that the equilateral triangles have 3 congruent sides. So each side is 3 inches, 3 inches, and 3 inches. So we know that that's going to be an equilateral because the 3 sides are going to measure the same. For letter C, it says sides are 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, and 4 centimeters. So for that, we know that that's going to be an isosceles because it has 2 congruent sides. So the 2 sides that are the same, which means congruent, are 4 centimeters and 4 centimeters. So on letter D, it says 2 of the 3 angles are 50 degrees and 40 degrees. So we know that for letter D is going to be that the sum of those 2 numbers is 90. So that's going to be a right triangle. And for letter E, angles are 60, 60, and 60 degrees. For that one, it's going to be an equilateral triangle because the 3 sides measure the same amount. For your rest of the lesson, you are going to finish up your worksheet, page 245 and 246, and you also have homework to do for this lesson. Make sure that you finish everything, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know. I will see you guys here tomorrow. You guys have a good day.